Hello Reloaders! In this video, we want to show you what's new in the new firmware version 2.41. Version 2.41 has come about because of an issue that was not picked up by our testing team. If your machine and/or powder machine combination required a fairly high setting for the vibrator minimum speed, a minimum value of say over 80 units, as an example, then the default value of 10% for the vibrator idle margin was simply not enough differential to be effective, and the instruments using the vibrator were near impossible to control. Further to this issue, we also found these machines had a relatively unstable automatic vibrator minimum speed detection. So it was back to the drawing board. Changing the default idle speed was simple. But the automatic minimum speed detection required a bit of a rethink, and a completely new algorithm has been deployed that caters far better for a variety of machine powder combinations. After that process and considerable testing, we found the vibrator idle margin needed a little bit more separation. We ended up with a new default value of 50%. Great! The required changes had been made, and we could have just left it at that. We can call it version 2.40 build 2, and we're good to go. However, rather than just a quick fix and leave it at that, we decided to take advantage of the time waiting between when I send an update to our testing team and all of them getting back to me with the results. I keep a list of my development plans, along with our testing team's ideas and user requests. So this waiting time is the perfect time to code in the next level of progression. So, version 2.41 is born. The control system, profile, and core systems are the same as version 2.40, with the addition of a few handy features and improvements, along with the just mentioned changes to the vibrator settings. The first improvement is the simple addition of the SuperTrickler's generation number to the version description at the bottom of the charge screen. Not a big deal, but it sure makes it much easier to assist people from posts when we can see the version and generation. Next is a change to the ladder system. On completion of the ladder process, a message will pop up informing you that the ladder operation has been completed. If the SuperTrickler is in sleep or powered down mode, and the supply power is cycled, a screen will now flash up to inform the operator the machine is returning to that sleep mode. Apparently, some people have been confused by this return to sleep function, and thought their machines were faulty. Another improvement is the way the pulse dithering is selected. Before, pressing the dither button would cycle through the selections. But this was a pain when you just wanted to move it up or down from that point, where you may have to step through all the choices again. We have changed this so that the dither button will call a subscreen to step up or to step down, making the selection considerably easier. Now onto the statistics. Firstly, the statistics will no longer register a failed charge if a required overthrow has taken place. This has been a request by several users. Also on the statistics, the reset button has been removed and replaced with an F or function key. This will bring up a screen that will allow you to reset the statistics. The screen also incorporates several other handy functions. Before we look at the other functions, we need to look at how the screen works. Pressing the reset statistics does not cause an immediate reset. On this screen, you can select and/or deselect any of the functions. To initiate the changes, you must press the OK key. Alternatively, to cancel your selections, press the Cancel button back to the charge screen. The second change is the selection of the instrument metadata, time or in-flight. This used to be in the options under the charge options screen, but it is a handy tool to be able to quickly change the selection for power users who are trying to optimize a profile. The ability to ensure your in-flight values are in a good place and then jump to the time, to see how much time each instrument is taking, can really help the optimization process. The final new feature is the hopper powder alert. This has been an ongoing request for some time, but we really did not have the real estate to manage this functionality in a practical manner, until Andy Howard came up with the idea of having a function key, where the value can be reset. So let me explain the concept, and how this system works. As the powder gets low in the hopper, the pressure or compaction on the kernels at the bottom of the hopper decreases. This results in the kernels flowing easier, and begin to flow faster than the scope of the profile, resulting in an increase in the number of overthrows. The request has been to have the system alert the operator as to when the hopper is getting low, and before the overthrows start. We have no physical apparatus to do this for us, so we must rely on the assumption that the hopper is full to begin with. The amount of powder used in good charges is registered against a threshold value, set in each profile. When the powder used reaches the threshold, an alert is raised, and the operator must respond. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Firstly, let's look at the profile, and where the threshold is set. From the main profile screen, select More Settings. You will see the powder level alert button. The default value will either be 0 for off, or 1500 grains. You can set this to whatever value you would like to trigger the alert. The next subject is how to reset the powder used register. The powder used register automatically resets at the start of a session, or at any time the powder type is changed. To explain this in relation to presets, if you select a preset with the same powder that is currently in use, the register will not be reset. The powder must change to cause an automatic reset. The register can also be manually reset at any time, via the function key, described earlier. When you open the function screen, the current powder used register value is shown just above the reset button. This can be handy when trying to work out the best value to set in the profile, for a given powder. The other way to manually reset the register is at the time of the alert. So let's talk about the alert system. At the end of a successful throw, the powder used is added to the register. However, the comparison against the profile threshold does not take place until the powder cup is removed. Exactly the same way as the function screen, the powder used can be reset. Don't forget you need to add more powder at this point. Alternatively, you can press the snooze button, and this will give you another 300 grains grace. Well, that's it for version 2.41, a few fixes and a few modest improvements. You may have noticed for the first time, we distributed to a few users a pre-release version, called a release candidate. The reason we have done this is to capture a wider range of users, and increase the chances of picking up on something that has slipped past the official testers, before the official release is posted. If you have loaded one of the release candidates, I recommend you then download the official release, as it may have some changes. Finally, as per always, please read the What's New document for any additional information. So until next time, straight shooting and happy reloading, from Rex and Peter.